Your baby's close to you. There's someone out there.
What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's missing person case is Don. Also, today's person of interest is Olivia. Today's missing person case is Courtney. No? Oh, nothing more creepier than a freaking shaft. No? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Oh, let me switch my volume here. If you can hear me all right, please put a 1 in the chat if you could. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. I cover murder, mystery to the paranormal. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Kylie Rodney. I haven't touched on it for a little while just because it's kind of gotten a little crazy. But Avengers with Purpose, shout out to them. They went out there and found Kylie Rodney's car and Kylie Rodney herself. We have learned that it looks like her body, her remains were found in the cargo area, which is very suspicious. And so I wanted to go over a few things just that kind of stuck out to me since everything's come out, and that they put out this video. I think AWP did a members only video, and then I think they've officially released it a couple of days ago. If you haven't seen it, I would check it out. It's really good. So thank you guys so much for putting 1 in the chat. I know it's early for me to go live. I thought I'd do like an early live for those that are kind of like in the UK where it's much later. So it'll be kind of a short live, but we'll get like straight to the point of what I wanted to cover about this case, which I think leads to foul play, in my opinion. Thank you so much, Brookie, for the $1 sticker. You're so awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay, so let me clear this out. So for those that are new to the channel, I like to cover missing person cases as well. So before we get into Kylie Rodney, quickly show a couple missing person posters here. So this was just sent in to me by one of my mods. So this is Ela May. She went missing on June 15th of this year. She's 62 years old. There is a cash reward offer. She is believed to be in a silver 2005 Ford F-150 with Arizona license plate AFE 7101. If you have seen her or this truck with that license plate, please contact this department. The number is 505-368-1350. And that is in Arizona. And then we've got Brian Vladik Hazel, who was 22 when he went missing, now is 23 years old. He was last seen near his apartment complex in East Orlando, Florida, on November 15th of last year. His family hasn't spoke to him since November 6th. He does not have access to a vehicle or a cell phone. He left that behind. If you have seen Brian or know anything about his whereabouts, the number is 407-254-7000. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And so, quickly, just I think most of you know this case, but just to recap real quick here. Let's just skip forward a little bit. Let me pull up Google Earth real quick. But Kylie Rodney went to a party on August 5th or 6th in the late hours. There was a party. It was the end of the summer party. They had it at the Prosser Family Campground. They say that there was approximately 200 to 300 people at this party. It was just supposed to be the teenagers, seniors and whatnot that were supposed to be at this party. They were seen arriving around 9:30, 10, and then a witness at the Lakeside Campground said that they seen majority of the people leaving at 12:30 a.m. Now the party took place at approximately around this area here. And her car, this is not where her car was found. That was, her car was found right here. I don't think I updated that. I'll have to take that off real quick here. But her car was found right here about 14 feet underwater. And so, unfortunately, she was believed to be found in the cargo area. So, Adventures with Purpose put out a video a couple days ago. I'm just going to show just a few screenshots of each of the windows, because this is going to be like just the main topic of today's video. So Nick, who is a diver for AWP, once they had caught something on the sonar, he dove down and immediately noticed that this was the car that they were looking for. So he approaches the driver's side. So this is the driver's side window, which appears to be completely intact. So nothing wrong there. Then we go to the rear driver's side window. And as you can see, it looks like it's about halfway down, maybe 6 to 8 inches, give or take. And then this is the driver, just that window that's to the cargo area on the side. That looks to be intact as well. And then I'm not going to, so that's the cargo area. I just kind of skipped through that. Obviously, it's blurred because that's where her remains are to be. So I'm not going to leave that up out of respect to the family. But that's... if you watch the video, you'll notice that they blur the when they're Nick's going past the rear window in the cargo area. There's a blur that's assumed to be Kylie Rodney. So now he moves over to the passenger side. So we see this window is intact, and he kind of brushes back and forth, but the rear passenger window is fully up. But the weird thing is the passenger window, the front passenger window is, now he says it looks like it's broken out. There have been some interviews with Doug on a couple of channels. They weren't sure if it's broken or if it was just completely rolled down. I think that's very interesting. There's one more better picture. So here's kind of just a better picture of the passenger window. So it looks to be just completely either broken out or completely rolled down. And I'm just checking chat, see if there's been any update, because I don't think they've confirmed whether it's been busted or rolled down. My opinion would be more likely the window was down, or just because if anybody's had a broken window, glass gets everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I had a car that was broken into, and yeah, I only had the car for probably 4 months, and it got broken into. They broke the passenger window. They wanted to get into my glove box. I was lucky they didn't steal anything. But anyway, I thought I'd cleaned up all the glass. And every time I'd go and clean out my car, as the years passed, I'd always come across glass from that broken window. It just, if anybody's had a broken window knows what I'm talking about, it just goes everywhere. And we'll play a little video about that. Yeah, so that's the thing is, so yeah, they say it's broken, but then in a recent video, they said they weren't sure. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting, but we'll just kind of leave it. As for right now, I'm not 100%, so I don't want to say one way or the other, but either way, there's no window right here. And if anybody's had a broken window would know that the glass just it just goes everywhere. So in my opinion, I would think if this window was intact when it went into the water, we should be seeing like glass like somewhere laying on which would be the roof or outside the window here if it was busted out. So I think whatever happened, either the window was broken or rolled down, it was before it went into water, in my opinion. And I'll just kind of show you a video on why I think that is. I think most people, if they've seen a broken window, know what I'm talking about. But so here's some guys that are just breaking windows with different objects and stuff. But just to show you guys what it looks like. Some of them are using that new tool that's Release Me or Rescue Me. That's what it's called. And I'll show you guys at the end. But the one thing we don't see is any kind of like leftover glass. A lot of times you'll have some areas that just like this right here. Usually you would see something like this. Now I don't know if breaking a window underwater would be different, but usually you'd have something like hanging off here and here. But the window is just completely, there's nothing, which I thought was interesting. And just moving forward a little bit. That's amazing. This guy's using a tool that's supposed to have like a window breaker on it, and it's not working. And of course they pull out one of those new tools there. But this is what I came across when I had my window, but I just want to play this part where it shows it in slow motion. Yeah, a car would have definitely sunk a lot faster, especially if two windows were, one's halfway down and the other one's either broken out or all the way down. Yeah, that car would have sunk pretty fast, unfortunately. But I just wanted to show this. They do a slow motion of this, and I just wanted to show just how much glass with one window, and they slow motion this real quick. But yeah, just looking at all that glass just from one window, and that's kind of like the smaller window because the passenger and the driver main side are slightly bigger, and then the passenger, the rear ones are a little bit smaller. But just watching all that glass, it goes everywhere and it explodes. So I just thought it was kind of interesting that we don't see any glass. And we'll just take one more look, and then here's another kind of picture of the passenger window. I just think it's interesting. You would think you would see glass if it was busted underwater. You would either see it, laying up here, because even though the car went upside down, all that glass would have just came down. I think it would have been reflecting, in my opinion. But I think there would have been some kind of evidence of glass. So I think whatever happened, that window was down or broken out before the car went in my opinion. And then we can see where I guess they busted out the driver's side window, and you can see where there's some glass left up. There's some glass left up here. You can actually see some, so typically what happens is you kind of have to like clean it all the way out. But you can see, I'm assuming maybe they busted the driver's side to get like the tow rope inside to flip it somehow. And that's, but the driver's side was obviously intact when it was upside down. But I'm assuming maybe they broke it either to flip it or maybe it got broken on accident, one of the two. Yeah, that's a great point, William. Yeah, the problem is you can't hit with that much force on her, right? Because she would already be like filling up, assuming she's in the driver's seat. That's a great point. Yeah. Yeah, I think for whatever happened to that passenger window, it was either broken or it's rolled down before she went in, which is really weird. I mean, I wouldn't say it's really weird, but it's a little odd. So, one of the things, let's see, where do I got it? Now, if you guys are new to my channel, I always like to do like little experiments, and so I have two SUVs. One is that it's a lemon. This is the Nissan Murano. Unfortunately, this is the car that broke down when I was looking for Dylan rounds. We're trying to fix it up so we can sell it, but that or just have it towed off. I don't know if it's worth even putting another cent into it. But and then I've got my Toyota RAV that I got. So, but anyway, so having some experience with SUVs, I thought it'd be interesting to take some measurements because I know most SUVs are pretty same, especially like windows and the cargo area as far as dimensions. They're pretty close. I mean, give an inch or two. Most SUVs, especially the one that I have, is pretty close to the Honda's CR-V. We'll get to what I'm trying to get to here in a second. Thanks, Rocky. With front window open, front window open on driver's side, plus gears in neutral position. It seems to me someone could have pushed the car into the water to cover up crime, especially if Kylie was found in the back. Yeah. So it's the passenger side. So this is the thing: it's the passenger side that was open, not the driver's side, which is a little weird because we'll talk about that in just a minute. But yeah, it's possible that it was pushed into the water for sure. Thank you so much for the $10. You're awesome. So I did a little bit of measurements, and obviously on the passenger side or in the front windows, the diameter changes. The height is basically 16 inches. And then from the bottom, it's about 32 inches. And then, because, obviously it angles up. So the dimensions are going to change. But basically you get about 15, 16 inches from top to bottom. And then from width at the very bottom, it's about 32 inches. And then at the top, it's more like, I think it's like 22 inches or something like that. So, assuming, and then, of course, she has the back driver's side window open. So I'm just trying to get like a feel for all the windows that are, in the position that they were in when she went into the water. So the passenger side's all the way down or broken, either one. So she has this huge gap that she can go out of. Of course, she's not going to make it out of the rear driver's side because that's only like 6 inches. But the thing about the cargo area, and I measured mine, and then I also measured the Nissan Murano, and they're basically about the same. But basically from the ceiling to the back seat is approximately 15 inches. And that was the same height for my Nissan Murano as well. Now, the only difference, my Nissan Murano's got the middle headrest. The Honda CR-V does not, so it's just like mine here. It doesn't have that middle headrest here. So this is a pretty accurate, you know, I wouldn't say exact, but it's close. Let's see, I thought I measured that back one. Oh yeah, here we go. So anyway, so I'm in the back of my RAV4 here. And so you've got an 18-inch gap from each headrest, 18, 19 inch, it's kind of like in the middle, and then 15 inches from top to the back seat. Now there's a possibility she could have had one of those seats down. I can't tell from when they pull out the car. Unfortunately, you can't really tell if the seats are down or up. I'm gonna go just assume that they were just in the regular position they were in, just like mine. So you have basically two routes, well, multiple routes, but you've got one. Let me pull this up. Where did I have it? So here is, and this is the inside of a Honda CR-V. So you've got your car going underwater with a window that's completely out, broken out, or down, 16 by 32 inches. And she's obviously, you know, a young, skinny girl, so I would think she could easily escape out of the passenger window. But to be able to be flipped upside down and then swim under and then try to make it through this 15 by 18 inch gap seems really tough to me. And just to kind of look at what it looks like, so this would be right side up for a Honda CR-V, and then upside down, and then of course you've got the headrest. It looks like they put this seat down, but you would have another headrest right here, so you would have the same thing. You would have 15 inches by 18, assuming all the seats are in a regular position. So it just makes no sense that she could get into the cargo area, but she couldn't just go out the passenger window. So that's kind of my argument for today's video is I think foul play is a good possibility. The one thing that's weird is when you're pushing a car is, you know, usually you've got people pushing the car like this, and you would have somebody on the driver's side either sitting in it, or you would have the driver's side window down and steering the wheel. That's the only thing that I thought was kind of odd, that the passenger side was down. So it is a little odd that out of the two windows in the front, it was the passenger that was down. But I think it's still a good possibility to that they could have pushed it in there. But just going back to the window here, though, and I just saw somebody make a great comment, but it would be really tough with the water filling in. And let's just take a look at what usually cars do and why it was upside down.
And even if you could open the door, this would allow for even more water to come in.
Oh my God, it's coming up under the windshield. Wow.
So you can see, this is that guy from Mythbusters, and you can already see, and he's in a pool, I think, or something like that. But he's already like starting to tip down because, and I'm sure we've gone over this in a previous live, but usually, because the heaviest part of the car is the front, because you got the engine, everything is in it, so the car starts to fill up, and the engine, with it being the heaviest, the front, starts to tip, and then the airs in the back tire act like a buoy, and then it just kind of flips the car. So we can see Adam here already starting to tip over.
I can feel the pressure. All right, I only have a couple more breaths here.
After we aired that episode, we got a lot of new information about the fact that most cars, when they go in the water, they don't go in and then just sink. They actually go in and do what's called turning turtle. They go upside down. And that episode is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me on the show.
The plan works to perfection as the car pitches nose first and then settles.
Yeah, it's only two versions. You're gonna float to the cargo. So this is the problem with the floating to the cargo. So you're right, bodies do. They will. I hate to talk about this, but let's pull this back up. But yeah, bodies will eventually, after they pass, they fill up with gas, and even if they're seatbelt in, they will actually come out of the seatbelt and actually float kind of up to the top, and then they can move around. But what's interesting, if that was the case, she would have floated up to where the where the steering wheel and the pedals were, in my opinion. So I think that's a little weird. I wouldn't say it's not possible. I tried to do some research on like cars and like people that were found in bodies of water inside cars, and unfortunately there wasn't a lot of like SUVs, so it was kind of tough to like gauge like where bodies are typically found. I noticed they've been found front seat, back seat, nothing that I found in the cargo, which I think says something. But yeah, there wasn't too many that I could find that were SUVs, but I think that's really suspicious that she would end up in the back seat. If she was conscious, and she had this passenger window, actually that's not the passenger window, but if she had this thing completely open, why didn't she just come out of that? It's just so weird. And then to be able to fit through, not saying she can't, but to be able to fit through that little gap if all the seats are in the upright position seems really strange to me. It seems unlikely. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, so the other thing with the tow truck driver, that is really odd. If you haven't seen the AWP video, they talk about this tow truck driver who had gave somebody apparently a jump, and he couldn't remember if it was Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And they kind of asked him, well, if you guess, which day would it most likely have been? He said most likely Saturday, but he said it was just before noon. And he describes what look like Jagger, I guess, because he says a black San Francisco hat, short hair with some freckles or acne, and then describes kind of a blonde girl. The only thing that's kind of odd about that story is if that was on Saturday, now they were having apparently battery trouble. The only thing that doesn't make sense is if they get their car charged, because he supposedly, helped jump the car and told them to keep the car running for a while because that's, you want to charge everything back up. Because a lot of people, they'll get a jump and then they'll go like drive it to like a gas station or something and go to fill it up, and they turn off the car and it hasn't fully charged up, and then it won't start again. So that's usually why they tell people, if you get jumped, especially if the battery's like super dead, you want to run it for a while or drive it for a good 20-30 minutes to get it charged back up. But yeah, the only thing that just doesn't make sense is why, if that was, say, Kylie that was with this guy, why would she have just called her parents, because now they got the car charged up and she has a cell phone and they were charging her phone at the party. So that's the only thing that's a little sus. But I guess we'll see what happens with that. I think it's a little odd, though, that he couldn't remember the day. That was a little weird. You would think with how big this case is, he would be able to remember, especially if it was Kylie, what day it was. Let's see, I'm just checking chat real quick. So, tow truck driver isn't very smart. If car is in neutral, You would have to still power the accessory position. You can still listen to the radio. It just won't start. Interesting. She could have climbed and panicked in the cargo area because that's the area which wasn't flooded in the beginning. If she was drunk, might not thought to dive out of the front window. Possible. I said it's not impossible. I just think you got to remember it's dark and she's upside down. Is she going to really be able to navigate? I guess it just depends if it did a full flip at the beginning or if it was like sitting on its like nose for a little bit and then flipped. But once it's flipped upside down, that means you've got to dive under the water to get to these back seats. And man, it's tight if you have all the seats in its upright position. Not impossible, but and I would think having that window down, you would know that the water is rushing in. But then again, it would be dark, so I guess that could explain why maybe she didn't know to go out the passenger. But I still think with the variables that we have, I think being in the cargo area with such a tight squeeze to get back in there, it seems really tough to me. Yeah, before it flipped, right. Whatever happened, that car must have, because it wasn't that deep. I mean, 14 feet, so you got to think the car most likely started to flip pretty early on, like they usually do. Window pushed on hard on. Yeah. The Western would have pushed hard onto her. Yeah? Yeah, we don't know. But anyway, I just thought I would share that because, like I said, I have two SUVs, and just looking at the dimensions, it seems in a panic to be able to get back into his back seat. So this is what it looked like with the seats on the upright position. It's fairly tight. It's not impossible, but it's pretty tight squeezed. And if it's already at the very least like nose down, and she's inebriated, oh man, it's tough. Saw a photo of the SRV when upside down. It looked like there was a lot more room than looking at the spare when the car is upright. Yeah, it's weird when you're looking at it. It's one thing, but like I said, when you own an SUV and then you're like sitting in the car and just trying to picture yourself like upside down. And like I said, I was just doing the measurements, and then I was just kind of like looking at the back seat. And I know it kind of looks big when you're looking at like this view, but like when you're not sitting, when you're just sitting there, it's pretty tight. And then thinking that you're upside down means you've got to swim like under. Like I said, unless the car was like sitting on its nose for a little bit, but we don't know all the details, but I think that's it's a little odd that she's sitting in that back cargo area. Yeah, I did. Yeah, we could see. Yeah, that's sad that they actually caught the car with the drone footage, and just unfortunately, they just didn't see it. Oh, that's what it could have been. Yeah, I thought the tow truck stated that the car was not dead. Yeah, okay, you could be right. Yeah, I just watched it this morning. Yeah, I think you're right on that. But I do remember him saying that. So either way, they should have still been able to, if that was Kylie, she should have been able to charge her phone. Yeah, if windows are open or closed, only 30 seconds. Yeah, and just looking back at that video, and then
Speed is the key to belts off.
so this would be what it. This is basically what it'd be like, because she did have windows down.
A second after hitting the water, seat belts off, then windows down. Within 8 seconds, both front seat passengers are out. Water now rushing in the back seat. Passengers scramble. In some cars like this one, rear windows won't roll down all the way. The escape is out the front. Everyone is
I mean, that's submerged in
all
20
under
seconds
20 seconds.
Everybody's clear.
with windows down.
The car went down quicker than I thought it would. I had a real inflow of water that I had to work against to get out, but it can be done.
Point is,
Yeah,
everybody knew
I don't know.
what they're supposed to do. Get your seatbelt off, open the window, period, and then get out.
It's simple.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, Tammy. Maybe it'd be upright before it tipped all the way over and the hatch had air pocket and she went that way. It's possible. And I find a friendly junkyard operator who would let you turn to over. Yeah, I wouldn't mind flipping that one that I have. I had no problem with the lemon I have. I would love to use that for experiment. Yeah, it's super fast. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I just yeah, totally. That's just showing you how fast the car can fill up. Yeah, if she was on. Yeah, I guess the question would be if she was seatbelted in the passenger or in the front. Because if she was still seatbelted, then I don't think she would have gone too far until she unbuckled herself. But yeah, that's true too. Because yeah, she had the passenger all the way down, and then she had the back driver down. So yeah, you would have almost an equal flow of water coming in. So. Checking your chat. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said, I just wanted to show you guys just what it looked like with the dimensions. You've got one area that's just and then also, like I said, I think it's really odd. I know some people say that the window's broken, and I've looked and just see if I could see any glass, and there's just, let me go back over to it. So here, and this is actually a alcohol container. People have kind of zoomed in on some stuff. This looks like some kind of cell phone charger. They did spot, I'm not sure if it's on the passenger side, they did also spot like some rolling papers. I mean, obviously they were at a party, they were drinking and probably smoking weed, which isn't a big deal, but somebody should have been looking after her. But clearly, I think this is just shows a sign that she was inebriated, but that doesn't mean that she went into this by herself. But I think just going back to the broken window, I think if the window was broken, they should definitely try to look to see if there's glass. And there's one other thing that I hope that they do. Let's say if this car was pushed, I really hope that they try to see if they can take any kind of fingerprints off the back of the car or any kind of DNA. I know it's been underwater, and I don't know how long that DNA could last if, say, it was pushed. But let's hope that they have the sense to check the back of the car for any kind of like fingerprints or DNA. If someone did push the car in. The tires were spinning when they came out. We did see that. I'll pull that up. So we did see that the front wheels were spinning. A lot of people thought that it must mean that it was in neutral. There was a guy that went live. I guess he used to rebuild, worked on 2013 Hondas and that particular model. And he says that basically with that, I think it's Traverse engine or something like that. I had it written down. But he says basically with that particular car and that specific model, the wheels will spin, like the front wheels. I think all wheels will all spin in any gear except for park. So I thought that was interesting that he kind of cleared that up, because a lot of people assume that this was in neutral, and it could be in neutral, but it was interesting to hear that he says it could be basically in any gear except for park, and the wheels will still spin. So, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, if they did push, if it was pushed, they should definitely check the back of the car, and then I don't know, maybe if the passenger window was open, maybe they were trying to steer it from that side. Let's see, I don't know, because this is the window that was either busted out or all the way down. I mean, someone like me, I could reach. That was another thing I did test, but I didn't have anybody filming me. But I'm long enough that I could reach the steering wheel from just leaning over on the passenger side. I guess you could have had maybe somebody sitting in on the passenger push, like steering it, and then just kind of hopped out before they entered the water. But just my 2 cents on that. Oops, I wanted to get that. I bet they have that car tore completely down. Oh yeah, I'm sure we're going to get some answers, but if they haven't thought of processing outside areas, they will now. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, True Crime Web. I wish I could have you on. True Crime Web, that's Steve. He's a former detective, and he's always given me great advice. Yeah, what do you think about no airbags deployed? The other thing that's interesting that I noticed, this is the one thing. Let's see, do I have the picture? I know I have the picture. There it is. This is about the only angle you can see it too, which is kind of interesting. Is you do see the front windshield has actually been hit forward, which is weird. I don't know, maybe that could have happened from maybe it hit something at the bottom when it flipped, or I don't know. That's the only thing that's a little odd that would say that she was in the driver's side, and she got flung into the windshield here. But that is interesting that it got cracked. Unless that happened somehow when they were flipping it, but we don't know. It could have been something that happened after, but yeah, or when they turned it, yeah. Yeah, no airbags deployed. I guess that could tell something, maybe on how fast the vehicle entered the water. Could it mean that the vehicle entered at a slow speed, meaning that somebody could have pushed her in there? Margaret's got her mind made up. No airbags because she was rolled into the water. Car was in neutral. Well, let's just hope that if someone did push, they'll check that check for fingerprints. So I'm about to finish it here, but I do got to say, for those that drive and are near water or have any kind of body of water like rivers or lakes please get this is called Rescue Me. You can get these on Amazon for like I think like $7 to $10, and then of course AWP has their own device. It's basically the same thing. I have a link to that in the description of this video. It could save lives. I was thinking about maybe ordering some and then maybe sending them out to people. I think that would be kind of cool. Doug commented on the wing mirror last night on Popcorn Planet. He said, watch the video carefully. You can see the wing mirrors when we found it underwater. Oh, were you talking about the side mirrors? Interesting. Yeah, I think they accidentally busted one, if I recall right. But yeah, get rescued even if you're not near. Yeah. So anyway, so for my members, I've got a video because we went out looking for Dillon rounds and we flew over by this fort, this like really old fort that's kind of been like broken down. So I'm gonna release that later today for the members. I appreciate everybody like tuning in. I just wanted to kind of go early because I know that a lot of people are on the in UK, so they don't always get to catch my live shows. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I just wanted to touch on those few things. I thought it was just a little odd that if the window was broken, where is the glass? You would think if you had all these all the man hours spent searching for around Prosser Creek, I think. Like I said, when you bust a window, it shatters into like a million pieces, and you would think somebody would have noticed something. So if the window was busted, like somewhere on the Prosser Creek campground, I think it would almost be nearly impossible to like cover that up, just because it gets everywhere. So, and then also we're going to be talking about the Delphi thing. It's like ramping up like big time. So I'll probably go live again tonight talking about that because it's they did a recent interview with the murder sheet, and they're still out there searching apparently. So pretty crazy. I will try to get caught up on my emails today. Thank you, Kelly. And just checking the chat here. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And like I said, I'll have that members only video out tonight, and then we'll go live tonight with the Delphi murders. Thank you guys so much. And I got my new pet video for you guys. So if you're newer to the channel, you can email me your pets. Put the name in if you can, when you send the picture, if you can give me the name of the pet. Sometimes people forget to put that in there. And then I put it into my outros videos. So I love you guys. Thank you, mods. You guys are amazing. And we'll see you guys tonight.